Hi guys. So welcome to this second part of this tutorial series. In this video I'm going to cover several concepts, and in the first video you saw that how I was taking that court case judgment, converting that to a text data using document intelligence Azure service, and then we were also able to do some vector search. Now since then I have played around with the chunking process, increase the chunk size to 2000, and also the overlap to 100, I think. And based on that, I'm getting different chunks now. So my search query is to get the winning arguments, list all the winning arguments presented by defense. So I want to get from the judgment, from the court case judgment, what were the winning arguments. So which means I'm going to get certain sections in that judgment which contains those arguments. That's the idea. And that's exactly what this function is for. So I'm going to do a vector search on that problem, and then I'm going to get chunks. Now these chunks, they actually contain like a list of dictionary. So this chunks is a list of dictionary, and each of them has this item as chunk, which actually contains that paragraph. I am using this string formatting here, and this whole thing is now going to become a prompt. Okay, so that's for the vector search part. Now let's talk a little bit about autogen. So I mentioned in the previous video that I'm going to use autogen. Now I'm not an advocate for autogen or not any other framework. It's just for ease. I find it to be able to work with like much easier than compared to other framework. You still have to look at the framework code though. The same problem is with LangChain. All this, anything like even Crew AI and whatnot. The more and more abstraction you have, so there are these prompt templates inside those frameworks. They mess with your flow. For example, in case of autogen, I was subclassing the RAG proxy agent, but the prompt inside that, it was causing my application uh, to hit the guardrails, and I was not able to get the output. So I took that prompt out and updated it, and then now it works. So the problem with these frameworks is you have to like read the code of that framework to use the framework. And if that happens more often than not, probably ditch the framework. But so far I have not hit that critical point yet. And if I were to hit that point, I will probably switch to LangGraph. Now LangGraph does the orchestration part, and you can have normal Python functions orchestrated in like a in a graph format, like a acyclic graph. So you can have all those orchestration. Now autogen also has that. So I will continue with autogen for now at least. Now autogen means it's going to create it's an agentic framework as well as library. So how you create an agent is you create an instance of conversible agent. This is like the base what you can say to have a meaningful agent. Beyond that, there are only abstract classes. So you create the agent. Now what is an agent? Agent is something that receives a natural language input, and then it does some processing, and then it will produce a natural language output. So that processing part is governed through a prompt, and that's where this system message is. Now we can take a quick look at that analysis generator prompt, which is here. So here all I am saying is you are a legal expert, then do the analysis, generate the analysis. I also have a reviewer agent, which is this. Your verification agent, and then review and do some suggestions. I also have a retriever agent. It's not going to have any LLM config. It's just going to like provide an input to like initiate the conversation between the agents. So I have 3 agents here, and we reset them before we run that in the main function. I define the problem here. Now I'm using group chat. If we have more than 2 agents, so we can use group chat. We define the agents here in autogen, and then we need a manager. Now that has a LLM config, because okay, the orchestration part that I mentioned, how that orchestration happens, how the manager knows that now this agent's job is done, next is this. I have not defined anything, even though there is a parameter here, round robin, but I will let the LLM figure it out. And how it does that is it uses this name. Using all this generator, retriever, generator, reviewer, it knows that which agent to pass the control upon, uh, so that the output from one agent flows to another. So I have a retriever agent. I will initiate the chat manager and then pass this message to the manager, and then we define the problem which is going to be picked up right here. So this is all Python, and if you are coming from a Python background, you will actually be more comfortable here. But if you are a data scientist who doesn't do a whole lot of Python, you will actually struggle here. So for agentic AI, if you are coming from software development background, software engineering background, you will feel like, I wouldn't say it easy, but you will struggle very less. Only thing you have to gradually pick up is what an LLM is, which means how their architecture is, how they are trained, so all the deep learning stuff, and then that's where you will also learn some probability and statistics. So you will learn the data science in the reverse order. And if you learn the data science like 101 and then reach here, but then you suck at Python, you will have very hard time. Now I am not an expert in Python, but I know enough to be dangerous. So we do the initiate chat here, and then we have all those messages, while the agents are communicating with each other. So there is a variable called chat message. It's stored there, and based on that, I'm going to pick up the analysis and then the review as well. Let's look at some of those analysis. So do a word wrap here, and while I was going through this, I saw these particular keywords like PW1. It means prosecutor witness one. So the search was able to capture all these things. That's why LLM is able to generate this nicely formatted thing, and claim that the informant has forcibly thrust money. This is an anti-corruption case. So what the team did is the police, they had one guy who thrust the bribe money into someone's pocket. How is that a bribe even? So later on, this case was challenged, and then the defendant won. But when I wrote this query right here, so based on that, already the particular paragraphs from that judgment, they had already been searched out, and LLM is just doing the formatting. It is not doing really much without knowing what are the returned results for that query. And then I also generate a review. So in review, there is nothing much actually. I was looking at it. It's saying that there is a citation of this previous judgment. If you can quote some section from it, then that would be better. Maybe what I can do is take such kind of suggestion from the reviewer, and then do a vector search again, and then pass it as a additional context to the generator. So I may do those kind of improvements. For now, I think this is what I wanted to build, and standard stuff like create index, add index, PDF to text, you have already seen that. I will not go through that again. And this all code is going to be available in GitHub, so you can play around. Here there is some autogen basics I have put here. So you define the config list, and then you define the LLM config, and then you can create an agent. You can give it a name, and then give it some data, and then generate reply. So this also works. You can have the single LLM do this generate reply as well. You can do this initiate chat format as well, and here you can have a different agent, not necessarily the manager agent. And I have some other code. You might be interested in that. And in case you are wondering how to configure OpenAI, Azure OpenAI, so I have a code for that as well. So hope all this helps with your efforts on building agentic AI. And if you have any questions, if you want me to cover like quick tutorials in the form of quick tutorials that how I created Azure services, specifically the Azure AI services, which contains the API key and the URL for OpenAI, as well as the document intelligence, let me know. I can make quick tutorials on them. And of course, for the search service, I had to create a separate service. And I'm using the free tier wherever possible, so it's all very cheap so far. So hope you learned a thing or two, and if you like this video, put a thumbs up and please subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.